In this video, we will be talking about the Revel 2 DTF printer and showing you examples on how to create a gang sheet, how to print, and go over the complete process from A to Z. We're gonna print some shirts today. The first thing I need to do is I need to show you guys how to create a gang sheet. So this is what my gang sheet is gonna look like, and I'm gonna show you how I got there. So let's delete some of these images, and we'll start at the very beginning. So you'll notice that my background is green. I like to set a neutral color in the background so that I can see all the details. This particular design is going on a white shirt. That's why the letters are black. We have another one with white letters. So if this design was on a black background like this, you wouldn't be able to see the black accents. And if it was on a white background, you wouldn't be able to see the white accents. So I like to work with a neutral color. So on Vivid Rip, you're gonna hit your background screen. And I like to hit one of these color key in green so that most images don't have this type of green. If they do, you can always change it. But like this, you'll notice that the image, you can see all the detail in the image. When creating the gang sheet, you want to maximize the space of your gang sheet. If I were to make copies of this, I can hit copies, and let's say we just make it 2 across. If I click OK, notice how this image is coming off of the screen. So this is not favorable. In this case, I'm gonna have to make a small gang sheet and then just reprint it several times. That's the best way to go. So let's clear all the copies. And you'll notice since this design is tapered, I'm going to right-click, copy, right-click, paste. So now I have 2 designs, but on this design, I'm going to rotate it. And you'll notice that now they will be tapered, one kind of going from thick to thin and the other one thin to thick. And now I can put 2 of them side by side and maximize my space. I'm gonna leave this edge nice and straight on this side. This edge is gonna be straight, so I have a way to orient them when I press them. The Racoma here is supposed to be horizontal when it goes on the shirt, so that's another point of reference that I can use when printing these or when pressing them on the shirt. So once again, I right-click, paste, and I'm gonna take that same image. I'm gonna right-click and paste again, because every time you do a paste, it kind of undoes what you did. So we're gonna rotate that last one. And now that I have my 4 images, I can create my gang sheet. Sometimes I don't like to create a huge gang sheet because if I need to reprint them, instead of printing 20, I can just print these 4 and get what I need. If I only need to print a couple, that's what I'm gonna do. If I need to print many, I can just run this print as many times as I want and get as many prints as I need. So you'll notice that now with this, I have 4 images in about 31 inches of paper, whereas if I had done it the other way, it would have been around 60 inches of paper, and that's a waste. So making the gang sheet like this allows me enough space to cut around it and maximize. If I had other smaller images, I could always like maybe throw one in here, throw one in here, and maximize my space. So if I were making little neck labels, I can throw them in these empty spots and cut them out later. So if you're building your gang sheets, this is a great way to do it. And I wanna stay within these margins. I don't wanna go all the way, and this is a 23-inch space. The film is 24, but you do need to allow for about a 1/2 inch allowance on either side. All right, so now that the images are set, this is my gang sheet. I'm just gonna right-click, print to file, and save it to my desktop. I have a special folder that I'm gonna save it to, and here we go. So now we wait for this to rip, and we're gonna switch it over to Host&Soft and print it then. All right, we're gonna go to Host&Soft. In Host&Soft, this is going to allow us to print the design. Host&Soft has an ability to, if you import one image, you can create your own gang sheet with Host&Soft itself. All you have to do is tell it how many copies you want, how many rows, and it will do it. The advantage is that you don't have to wait for the ripping. The disadvantage is that whatever you tell it how many you want per row, it will automatically shrink or increase the design based on what's gonna fit on the gang sheet. So if you really need a specific size on the gang sheet, then you need to build your own. If you just want 10 copies of an image, it really doesn't matter whether it's 12, 11, or 10 inches wide, then you can go to Host&Soft and have it do it for you very quickly. So in this case, we're going to open File, and we're gonna find our design file that we just ripped. And notice how the PRT files are rather large. So this one is 1.3 gigabytes. You wanna double click and it shows the file. It will automatically mirror the image for us. So this is not something we need to do on VividRip. It automatically does it here. Once we're done here, we just have to hit the print button and we're good to go. So once we hit print, it's gonna start the printing process and we are off. Come take a look. The Revel 2 uses two i3200 Epson print heads, one dedicated for colors and the other dedicated for whites. The first thing that it's gonna lay down is the color layer, and then it will apply the white layer on top of that, which the glue or the powder is going to adhere to. Then it's gonna go to the oven, but one step at a time. Another cool feature on HostNSoft is while this gang sheet is printing, I'm going to bring in my next gang sheet and get it print ready. And I'm gonna go over the technique again on how to do the multiple job by converting one gang sheet into just one complete big one. So if I go to File, I'm gonna go to the folder where all my designs are. So this is my next design. We're gonna double click and open it. So these designs, these are gonna be for a white or a black shirt, so they have the white lettering. When I double click it, notice it's just gonna print a set of 4, but I wanna multiply that to make 20. So instead of doing a count and getting the space in between, I'm going to make a copy and repeat that same design about, what, 6 times this time? Because I want approximately 24. So on my Y count, remember, Y is gonna align them up and down, X is gonna put them side by side. So because I already have the 23 inches taken up, I just want to make them long. So here, I'm just going to take this and put it to 6. My multi-ink, I want there to be just a little bit more white, so I'm going to put it on 2. Usually more than 2 is not necessary. 1 is enough, but I like it to be just a little bit more white. And that's a personal preference. You can leave it at 1 and that'll be fine. So now that I have my multi-ink at 2 for the white ink only, my count at 6, I can click OK. And now you'll see that I have all of my 24 designs on the screen. Last thing I have to do is I'm going to right click on the image and click right here, print ready. That lets the printer know as soon as my first job is done, just go right to the next one. And ideally, you just want this thing to be running. So as you're printing, you can be ripping images and uploading them right to HostNSoft without ever having to stop the machine. Had I used the count feature, after every gang sheet, it would have given me this amount of space in between each gang sheet. Now you can see this is wasted space. So by using the copy feature, you're gonna see once this is done, it's gonna go right into the next one and we're gonna have minimal space in between and minimal paper loss. Let's talk about a little bit of the magic that happens with your DTF printer. So as the DTF printer is tirelessly printing, it's feeding the paper down into the oven. The first part of the oven is right here. This is the powder bay. There's a cylinder that spins round and round, and it delivers just a micro dose of powder onto your film. And that's going to adhere to the white ink, and as it goes into the oven, it's gonna cook, cure, and that's how you're gonna be able to press it onto your machine. You see how that's spinning? Nice. And the next magic feature is right here. So you can see that the paper is going down into this trough, and you just saw that a little micro dose of powder was applied. As the powder falls onto the paper, it sticks to the white ink, and there's a nice bar that holds all the powder in place. This means that you don't have to keep refilling this with powder over and over and over. The powder will stay inside the trough and get applied to the ink. Now right below here, you see this little flapper. So there's a flapper underneath that gently taps the paper and lets all the powder fall back in. So the paper is gonna come right back up and into the oven. The oven is set to about 208 degrees Celsius, and there are 2 components to the oven, and it's gonna go really slow. So as the paper is fed, there's a laser right under here that notices when the paper gets a little bit deeper, it will automatically activate the belt system that then rolls the paper back up. The prints are coming right out of the oven, and if you can see here, there's a slight rubbery feel to it. So it's not as smooth as this, but once you feel the actual print, there's a slight little rubbery feel to it. Before it was a slick matte feeling, where you can kind of rub the powder off. But once you know it's cooked right, you're gonna see it glistens and there's a slight rubbery feel. So this is cooking just perfectly. We have cooling fans that are gonna cool the paper before it goes into the uptake roll, and we just have to let it continue. Keep it going. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to use your Revel 2 DTF printer. Now go out there and make some prints.